This is the Zcam E2-S6, a Super 35 6K cinema camera with interchangeable mounts, and it's all for under $3,000. Let's talk about it. On me. Yo, am I good? Is that good? What is up, beautiful people? It's your boy Joshua Martin. If you're in the filmmaking world like I am, you kind of already know what this camera is all about, the Zcam E2-S6. But if you're new to it and cinema cameras in general, I have a few things I want to point out to you. For the sake of keeping things simplistic, I'm just going to just show you a more stripped down version of my rig. Just a simple lens, top handle, once I get my, top handle, and then normally the monitor, which I'm actually using here, goes right on the top of that. I'll show you some clips. Form factor is a term that we use a lot in the filmmaking world, and it simply just means the ergonomics and shape and style of the camera body itself. So currently on the market, we have DSLR form factors like your Canon R5s and R6, the Sony a7S III, and the Fuji X-T4, just to name a few. But if you want to move more into cinema style cameras, you'll start to see some interesting and more box-like shapes, except the Blackmagic Pocket. Zcam here takes a lot of cues from the red cinema camera line, as you kind of see, which basically comprises of the brain, the camera itself, and then all the accessories you need to add on for it to be functional. So your lens, monitor, battery, and whatever other extensions you need to put on it. But the most exciting thing for me is the fact that this camera has the ability to change its mounts. I want you to take this lens off. Right now I have a Micro Four Thirds mount on it, but it has 4 screws on here that you can detach, and you can switch it out to a PL, EF, or Micro Four Thirds like I actually have on this camera right now. I personally have a PL and an EF mount as well, and that just gives me a lot more range and options when it comes to lenses. I could use from cine style lenses with PL mounts all the way to Micro Four Thirds lenses if I need to, that cover the Super 35 sensor. Like I said before, they advertise the Zcam E2-S6 of having 14 stops of dynamic range. It can capture a lot of information between your highlights and your shadows. But to get as much dynamic range out of this camera as possible, you have to shoot in Z-Log 2, and shooting at its native ISO of 400 or 1250. And a little trick is to slightly overexpose. That's the best way to go in my experience. The 6K footage is really good, and I'm gonna geek out a little bit here. The sensor has a lot of cropping options, from open gate all the way down to Super 16. But my favorite option is filming in open gate. You don't find this a lot in cinema cameras at this price point. What it means is that you can film the entirety of the sensor without a crop. The second advantage of filming in open gate is the flexibility to crop afterwards in post. But one thing you do have to do is have your crop marks on a monitor or whatever you have that you use to view your image on top, so you can actually see where you want to have your composition and have that in your final output when you're in post. So just keep that in mind. So the Zcam E2 actually has a wireless feature and a great app that comes in really handy when you don't want to have a lot of things built up. Simple enough, once you download the app, put on your phone, on your iPad, just put in the code and then boom, you are connected. And you can control everything from your frame rate, resolution, codecs. You can take a photo with this app. You can obviously press record with this app. There's a lot of handy features that you can do to take everything over for your camera through this app. Overall, the Zcam E2-S6 is a great camera for what you're getting for the price. Sure, you can rig it up, get all the accessories you need, and it's going to be a little bit more than $3,000. But if you want to keep it as simple as possible, phone, card, media, and lens, and you're good to go, you can absolutely do that too. You can mix it up however you want it. This camera is very flexible, and it's the way you can build it up, as well as the resolution options that you have in this camera. So I hope this video was helpful and just giving you a quick overview of some of the things I kind of like about this camera. But if you have any more questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.